What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. While we have a certain segment of African Americans in America who are distracted by childish things, the Republican Party and white supremacy itself is currently trying to take away the little political power that we have in Texas right now. They want to do a thing called gerrymandering, right? They want to redistrict areas because the thing is, the people who subscribe to white supremacy, the people who subscribe to authoritarianism, they're getting smaller and smaller. So what they do is they have to change the way the maps look so that fewer and fewer white races can have more and more representation in the government. You see, it's important to vote. Why is it important to vote? Because whoever you put in office is going to place judges all around the country. And judges can be either progressive judges or they can be white racist neo-Nazi judges wearing black robes instead of white robes. And what that means is when politicians put forth their racist agenda to maintain control, even though they're losing power numerically, they'll have the judges to be able to codify these laws. That's why Donald Trump was so consequential, because he was able to put in a bunch of judges with lifetime appointments. For the rest of their lives, they'll be able to legislate from the bench their white supremacist agendas, and they'll be able to support white supremacists in politics when they have the opportunity to push forth their white supremacist agendas to maintain white power in this country. You see, there's more people of ethnicity, I don't like to say POCs because that's just another way of saying color. There's more black people, Spanish people, and Asian people than there are white people, especially in Texas now. And the thing is, when your representatives are supposed to represent the demographics of the people, supposed to represent the politics of the people, and currently Republicans and conservatism is not popular in America. And because it's not popular in America, and also because of a certain group of people's population is in an irreversible terminal decline, they have to redistrict areas in order to maintain control. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do several things. I'm going to put a guy who can explain this better than me. He's going to explain to you what gerrymandering is, what redistricting is. He's going to have a visual explanation so you can understand. Now, for all you people who pretend like you know about politics, you better pay attention to this, because this is what's happening while you trying to argue with your brothers and sisters about who invented hip hop and hairlines and dumbass stuff like that. This is what so-called FBAs need to be paying attention to, instead of focusing everything and all their energy on continental Africans and Caribbeans trying to take something from you that you ain't never going to get. Because if you don't deal with this, you can just forget about reparations, because these people are not going to be the ones to give you reparations. While you sitting there, got your back towards the Republicans, while pointing at the Democrats like they're the bane of your existence, you got your true enemy about to carve you up and take away your political power. So all you FBAs and ADOs and xenophobic hate groups out there, turn the fuck around and look at your enemy while he's trying to stab you in the back. At least have him to look you in your fucking eye while he's stabbing you in your chest. At least be a man about it. Be a woman about it. But anyway, without further ado, this is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Please do a video on gerrymandering. You got it. So first, let's talk about what it is we're talking about. So gerrymandering is the hyper-partisan way in which a congressional district is drawn in order to favor unfairly one political party over the other. Not all congressional districts are gerrymandered, but a lot of them are. So when it comes to representation in the U.S. House of Representatives, how many representatives a state gets is based on its population. And then also based on that population, that state is divvied up into different congressional districts, and each congressional district will get one congressman or woman to represent that district in Congress, right? And so it's just a way to break up the states and to fairly, as close to as fairly as possible, represent the interest of that district in the U.S. House of Representatives, okay? Well, that sounds all good and well and seems perfectly logical. So what does gerrymandering do? Well, I have visual aids. So let's say we have a state here that has 50 people living in it, okay? And 20 of them are registered as the red party and 30 of them are registered as the blue party, okay? Now, the most fair way of divvying up this state into congressional districts are this way: horizontal lines. Let's say this is exactly how all these people live in the state, and so geographically, this is where they all are, and this is how they're registered to vote. This is the most fair way. So you get 2 red representatives and 3 blue representatives, right? This is a fairly represented state based on people's location and their registered affiliation. But the problem lies is that there's more than one way to draw a congressional district, because there's this way. Now we draw congressional districts vertically, right? And group them this way. Well, now each district has a blue majority. Even though they haven't moved, they haven't changed their party affiliation, each district now has a blue majority, which means 5 blue representatives from the state, giving an unfair representation to the blue party, even though the number of people who belong to the red party hasn't changed and they haven't moved where they lived. We just drew the lines differently. Okay, now watch this one. This is when they start getting crazy, and there are actual districts that are drawn in such weird shapes that it makes no sense. Okay, watch. Now, here we have districts drawn all sorts of weird kind of T shapes and long U shapes, but at the end of the day, it comes out to be 3 red representatives and 2 blue representatives. Even though the total population, the blue outnumbers the red, they don't get fair representation because of how the districts are drawn, right? So in this scenario, there's 3 representatives and 2 blue representatives, even though there's way more blue in the state. That's not fair either. So that is briefly what gerrymandering is. But on a larger scale, it's voter suppression. That's really what it is, because the party in power draws the congressional lines, and they can do that in such a way, that is until they're challenged in the court system and they're overruled, which has happened. But they draw it in a certain way to ensure that the majority of voters in any one district is the party that they want it to be, thus making sure that the overwhelming number of votes in that district goes to the party that they want. And they never run challenged, not really, because there just aren't enough registered voters in a particular party to challenge fairly an incumbent. And it's not fair.
Hey guys, I'm just leaving the hearing at the capital of Texas here. Ooh, scaffolding, where they're still going in the committee for redistricting here in Texas. And if you're not aware of what's going on here in Texas right now, basically the governor of Texas is doing the bidding of Donald Trump. Donald Trump called him and said, find me 5 GOP seats so that we can avoid accountability in next year's midterms and make sure that we keep a slim majority in the House. And so Greg Abbott said, sure, we'll do that. So under the guise of helping find relief for the flood victims in Kerrville, which, by the way, is the area or part of Texas that is included in the congressional district that I ran in the last election cycle. Those families are still reeling from the loss of lives, from the loss of their homes, from the loss of their jobs. And Greg Abbott and Trump are exploiting the tragedy and the devastating loss from the floods to enact partisan gerrymandered maps here in the state of Texas. It's not even time to redraw maps. That happens once every 10 years. The state legislature is who approves of it, which should be illegal in the country, to be frank. We need independent commissions to draw maps, because obviously there's a conflict of interest when any political party in power has the opportunity to redraw maps. And so that's basically what's happening right now. The state of Texas has been found guilty of violating the Voting Rights Act every decade since its enactment in 1965. And this current legislature in Texas is on track to set a new record for violating that act, not once, but twice in a single decade. We already have gerrymandered maps here in Texas that were enacted in 2021. That's where I ran. That's the map that I ran under. And now we are going to have even more gerrymandered maps on top of it that dilute the voices of Black and brown Texans. And we're not going to stand for it.
I don't think that it's an accident that Donald Trump picked up the phone, called down to Texas, told Abbott what he was going to do, and like a small, ridiculous child, he just fell in order. I don't think any of that was an accident. But what I can tell you is that we will not be an accident. We, the people of Texas, will be very intentional about making sure that they hear us, about making sure that we call them out for what they're doing. This is racist, what they are doing. Let me hear you. Instead of coming up with policies that will help all people, no matter what their ethnic background, they have You are not going to win this war.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.